What if we taught emotions the same way we teach math? Imagine walking into a classroom and instead of just equations and multiplication tables, the board also had lessons like how to deal with rejection or recognizing when you're about to burn out. Imagine getting homework on how to apologize or group work on how to handle anxiety before a test. Sounds strange? Maybe. But here's the truth. Emotions affect every part of how we learn, how we connect with others, and how we grow. And yet, most of us graduate without ever learning how to actually manage them. Let's be real. In school, we're taught to memorize formulas, diagram sentences, and label continents, but we rarely get taught what to do when our chest tightens from anxiety or how to name that feeling when we're overwhelmed. And that's not just an educational gap, it's a life skills crisis. According to the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, better known as CASEL, emotional intelligence is just as important as academic performance. Their research shows that students who participate in high-quality social-emotional learning, or SEL, programs show an average 11% gain in academic achievement. Why? Because emotions shape our attention, memory, decision-making, and even how we solve problems. When a student is angry or afraid, the brain literally shifts into survival mode, and learning becomes almost impossible. Now think about math class. You don't just walk in and figure out algebra on your own. You're taught step by step. You get practice. You ask questions. You make mistakes and try again. But when it comes to emotions, most kids are expected to just know how to manage stress, deal with conflict, or recover from failure. And when they don't, they're labeled as difficult, or weak, or lazy. This isn't just an issue for school, it carries into adulthood. According to the American Psychological Association, emotional regulation is directly linked to better health, job success, and relationship satisfaction. People with higher emotional intelligence tend to earn more, stay in jobs longer, and experience less burnout. In contrast, those who never learned how to name or manage their emotions are more likely to struggle with chronic stress, unhealthy coping habits, and mental health challenges. So, what if schools taught emotional literacy the same way they teach math literacy? Picture a world where kids learn the difference between frustration and anger, where there are class discussions about jealousy, grief, and joy, where self-awareness is on the syllabus next to reading comprehension, where students are given tools like breathing techniques, conflict resolution strategies, and journaling prompts, not just as an afterthought, but as essential parts of the curriculum. And here's the thing, some schools are already doing it. In countries like Finland and New Zealand, emotional education is built into the daily classroom experience. In many US states, especially after the pandemic, SEL is finally getting attention. Programs like Ruler from Yale and Second Step have been implemented in thousands of schools, and the results are promising. According to meta-analyses published in Child Development and the Journal of Educational Psychology, SEL leads to lower aggression, better classroom behavior, and stronger student-teacher relationships. Of course, critics worry about time. They say, "We don't have time to teach emotions. We have standardized tests to prepare for." But the science says the opposite. When students are emotionally supported, they learn better and faster. In fact, the World Economic Forum listed emotional intelligence as one of the top 10 skills needed for the workforce of the future. So why do we still act like emotions are a side quest instead of the main game? Why do we treat math as essential, but emotions as optional? Maybe it's time we realize that emotional skills are academic skills, that self-awareness is just as powerful as algebra, that learning to sit with sadness, communicate clearly, or set healthy boundaries will do more for your life than memorizing the periodic table. Here's the twist. You don't need a permission slip to start learning this. You can teach yourself. There are free SEL videos, books, apps like Mood Meter and Calm, and even online classrooms built around emotional wellness. And if you're a student, teacher, or parent, you can advocate for this. Start the conversation. Ask for emotional check-ins. Recommend SEL programs to your school, because the sooner we treat emotional learning as essential, the stronger, kinder, and more connected our communities become. So let me ask you, what's one emotion you wish you had been taught how to handle in school? Leave your answer in the comments. And if this video made you feel seen, heard, or just a little more human, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to School Subjects Online, where we explore the lessons school forgot to teach us. Until next time, stay emotionally curious and keep growing.